Okay, now for the last and final step is actually the adding in all the dimensions in the section front view. Okay, there will be no dimensions on the plan view, so please don't go adding dimensions there. Now the dimensions on the front view, there are many different types. Okay, and let's tackle the most normal and basic type dimension first. Right, clicking on the dimension, the linear dimension over here, the normal types are the ones where you do not need to make much editing. Oh, I need to switch over to my dimension layer. That's important. And then I click. Now when you select the dimension, please choose the corners that is furthest away from the part. Okay, meaning to say I will select this corner and this corner. Okay, when you do that, what happens is that you will notice there is a small little gap here, right, between the outline and the dimension leader line, and that is necessary. Okay, so what happens is that if you were to do this, let me show you the wrong way. If you were to do this like this, right, even though the value is still 68, you will lose some marks because your leader line overlaps the outline and then there is no gap over here. So this is wrong. We don't do it like that. Okay, so this is deleted. We are supposed to click on the extremities. Alright, and likewise, later on I will show you if you were to dimension, let's say the center of this line to this line here, the center line, you will click the top of the center line rather than the intersection or somewhere over here, because then there won't be a gap between the center line and the dimension leader line. So this is a typical normal dimension line. Alright, so we do that. And what I'll do is space. I think there's one here. Sorry, I think it's 8. Got it wrong. And here, right? So whoops. Mix it up. It goes across. This is 8. Okay, and approach it such in a way where it's like a wave. Okay, from right to left or left to right, so that you can pick out the correct ones to dimension. Okay, so typical ones. Then other than the linear dimensions, there are angular dimensions, and select the 2 slanted sides, then you get a 90 degrees, so you just place them here. Okay, and then there is back to linear. From here to here, this corner is 32, and I want to put it further out. And then from this corner to this corner is 50. So you notice how I dimension them and give them the space. Okay, next kind of dimensions that I want to handle are those with the diameter symbol, and those where I have to make a little bit of editing by adding text also. Okay, so again I'm going from, or let me go from right to left now. Okay, so with the diameter symbol, what you can do is, like for example this one over here, what's missing, the diameter symbol, right, is you select, double click the 8, and then it appears, right, and you need to type in percentage, the symbol percentage, and the letter C, and it turns into the diameter symbol. Once that is done already, you click left click out of the screen, and then your dimension is there. Okay, so get that done. Then the other one is the M12 over here. So I'm going to do the M12. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to select here and here. Okay, so if I were to move further up, somewhere around here, and I double click it, and I type the letter M, right? Next, there is this diameter 5. Okay, diameter 5, actually I can just use this symbol and then they will generate it for me, so it's quite safe, right? and then there is this other diameter, not diameter, yeah, actually it's a diameter. This one here is, you double click it, and you need to write percentage %C for diameter 20. Then you use the arrow keys to move across the 20, right? And you give a space, capital H7, right? This H7 is something which you will learn in your second year. It's on limits and fits, and they basically indicate predetermined dimensions for the tolerances for this particular hole. Okay, you'll learn that further next year. Okay, now after doing these dimensions, the next dimensions that I want to handle are the radiuses, and the radiuses are a little tricky. Okay, so I'll click on the radius icon, and if you zoom in over here, I'll handle the first radius from right to left now, and this is R3. Now you'd think that this is good enough, but if you look at it and you compare it to your drawing, you realize that it's not exactly the same. So let me zoom in and show you what I mean. Alright, so you have to replicate it such that it's exactly like the drawing here, where they don't have that arc that's appearing, and then the arrow is pointing exactly at the radius. Okay, so that's what we need to do, right? So how do we fix this? What we do is we click on the dimension, and then you right click, select properties. Once you are in the properties line, you need to go to the arrow lines and arrows, and then you scroll down, and then it says ext line, extension line. You need to turn it off. Okay, once you turn off the extension line, you realize that the arrow now is pointing to the curve, but they flipped it to the inside of the drawing, and that's not how you want to do it. So what you do is, next is you click on the blue dot that's here, and then you drag it around over. So you need to select that blue dot to drag it around. You don't need to hold on to click, you just click it once, and then you bring it over here. Okay, then you press escape to get out of the thing. You can close this window with the little cross here, and that's how you modify this. Okay, now the next radius to to put in is this one over here, and this arrow is pointing to the radius, and that's nice, but then they have an extension of a line coming out here, and that's not what I want. So what I do is I select the dimension, right click, go to the properties, and then from there, this time around, instead of lines and arrows, you need to go further down, and you need to look for the segment that says fit, F-I-T. Okay, and it says dim line force, which is dimension line force. You don't want to force it to the center, so you turn it off. Right, once you turn it off, it will go away, and then that's it. Right, this one has some editing to the text that's required, and you need to type in 2 space X space. Okay, and then you left click outside of the screen, and you would have gotten the radius dimension. The other radius dimension is at the bottom over here, R6, and I think this one you can get away without any editing, because that's the way they want to do it. Right, so my radiuses are done. The next thing that I want to handle is the dimensions with tolerances. Okay, dimensions with tolerances look like these. Okay, so I'll handle from left to right first. The first one over here is what we call bilateral tolerances. That means it is plus minus 0.15. That means the upper limit is plus 0.15, the lower limit is minus 0.15. Okay, so this plus and minus is not a Chinese word, 土字. No, it's not at all. It's actually the plus symbol and the minus symbol at the bottom, and it is 0.1. Okay, so 0.15. So how do we go about getting this dimension or dimensioning this in AutoCAD? First, we have to click on creating the dimensions first. Okay, and it is from this to the center line. You want to drag it out, and it's 15. Okay, and same thing, you click on 15, right click, and you go to properties. Okay, properties. Now I'm going to drag this over here so you can see the 15. Right, so the properties for 15, and then you scroll right down. Nothing to change with the arrows and the lines. We are going straight to the tolerances, which is at the bottom. First thing to change is the operation symbols to decimal separators. That's what we need. And then the tolerance display is the type of tolerance display. For this case, is symmetrical. Right, although they should use the word, well, they are interchangeably. It's bilateral or symmetrical tolerances. And the lower limit here is shaded out because there is only one input, and it's 0.15. Okay, then what you do is, because of all the additional lines, you want to lower the text height to 0.8. Oops, 0.8. And this is actually a requirement that is in your test paper. So if you scroll up, right, question 1, they say use the given dimension style DIM. I'll show you that later. Tolerance text height 0.8. Dimensional override may be applied if necessary. Okay, right, so this is the part where you need to do your editing. Okay, so going back to this. Okay, once this is done, 0.8, you enter. It will be a lot smaller. Press escape. Now you may feel that it's outside now, it's not exactly like the drawing. So what you can do is, again, you could click on the blue square and you could bring in your dimension. Okay, so you could bring in your dimension so that it's within the arrows, right? And press escape, and that's done. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is dimensions that are not symmetrical. So then what we're going to do, select the dimension here. Wait, sorry, wrong selection. It's on the inside, and it's 18. Okay, so I select the 18, right click, properties, and the dimension style is dim. Scroll all the way down to the tolerances. Operations, go to decimal separators. Tolerance display type. Now instead of symmetrical, it is called deviation. Okay, and for the lower limit, right, tolerance lower limit is minus 0.2, so you add in the value of 0.2, and the upper limit is 0.4, so plus 0.4. Okay, and then you can close it, and this is what we get. Okay, now the last one is a deviation, but it's a very interesting deviation where the lower limit is in the positive zone, positive 0.1, and the upper limit is positive 0.25. So it's this one over here, right? So lower limit is in the positive zone, plus 0.1, and the upper limit is plus 0.25. So how do we go about presenting this dimension? Okay, so we are going to go back to here. Select, and it is 36. And I want to align it to my 16, just like how it is in the drawing. Select, right click, properties, scroll all the way down to the tolerances, operation symbols, decimal separators, select deviation, and this time round for the lower limit, if you were to just put 0.1, you will see that the value that they give you will be minus 0.1. So how do you turn this minus into positive? Right, the way to do it is actually to add another negative symbol, 0.1, because negative times negative is positive. So AutoCAD will do the math for you, and they will trick it to put the positive symbol there. Okay, and the upper limit is 0.25. Wait, 0. Oh, it was not selected. Hang on. 0.25. Okay, and then I get the two symbols there. Right? And once I'm okay, I click outside of the screen, press escape, close the window, and there I have most of my tolerance out. And you think that's it? No, there's one last step. If you were to look closely, you will see that your tolerance leader line runs right across another dimension like this. And if you were to look at your drawing carefully, for example, over here, they actually break the dimension leader line so that the line doesn't run through across the diameter 20. And this is for clarity, right? And how do we go about doing it? Right, so there's a way to fix this. And it is found in the annotation tab. You need to go over to the annotation here, not the annotation here. The annotation that's on the top. When you click on the annotation, you will move over to this side under the dimensions. You will see this icon called break. Left click to select the icon, left click to select the dimension that you want to break, and then right click to accept the selection, enter, and then they will automatically identify where is the segment that they need to tidy it up. Okay, so I have one over here and I have one over here, so I need to repeat that again. Select, and then they tidy this up. Okay, with that you would have finished question number 1. Okay, quick overview how we should go about starting. We start off drawing the plan view. After we've completed the plan view, we check with the drawing and make sure that we didn't miss out the outlines, hidden lines, center lines, thin lines, and then we do the cutting plane. That's step 2. Step 3, we put the local section. Step 4, we started editing and doing the section view. Step 5 sorry, step 4 was the local section, and step 5 we did the sectioning view and removing of outlines and hidden lines and converting the hidden lines to outlines. And then the last step, step 5, step 5, the last step is to add in all the various types of dimensions. Okay, please review this video every now and then during your revision so that you'll be familiar with where the commands are, what is it to click, and how you need to edit. Without sufficient practice, this would be a stumbling block. So question 1, I wish you all the best. It's very easy. Please work hard at it and you will get maximum marks for this particular question. See you again and good luck.